My name is Maria Jolicoeur. Welcome to my show, Let's Talk About History. Today, I'd like to talk about a true story, tell you a true story about Mary McLeod Bethune. She was on July 10th, 1870. This story comes from the John S. Randall Peace page. She started a school for African American girls, $50. The school bordered the town dump. Makeshift desks and chairs were made from discarded and boxes. There were 5 students at the time, and the students made ink for pens from elderberry and pencils from burned wood. When the Ku Klux Klan heard about it, they threatened to burn it down. There were reports that they waited outside the school, but she stood in the doorway, unwilling to back down or leave her school. Other stories say that she and her started singing spirituals. The Ku Klux Klan eventually left. Mary McLeod Bethune, a picture of her right here. Was born on July 10th, 1875, in a log cabin on a cotton farm in South Carolina, the 15th of 17 children of former slaves. Most of her brothers and sisters were born into slavery. She was the first child born free. She started working in the fields by the age of 5. One day, she accompanied her mother, delivering white people's, unquote, children, telling her didn't know how to read. That's when Mary realized the only difference between white and black folk was the ability to read and write. When she got the opportunity, McLeod attended a one-room black schoolhouse, walking 5 miles to and from the school. When she got home, she would teach her parents and siblings what she learned. When she got an opportunity to attend the Moody Bible Institute in 1895, becoming the first African American student to graduate from the school. She decided then she would become a missionary, sharing what she learned, but she would be informed that no one wanted or needed a black missionary. Here's a picture. Rather than give up on her dreams, she decided more than ever that she would eventually teach. Flash forward in 1904. When, after moving to Florida, she started the Educational and Industrial Training School for Negro girls, which initially had 5 girls aged 6 to 12. My blood pressure medication. With limited resources, she was determined to make the school a success. Even when the Ku Klux Klan threatened her, but eventually she received donations and support from the community, and the school grew to 30 girls by the end of the year. Booker T. Washington Booker T. Washington would tell her of the importance of white benefactors to fund her school. So she started traveling and fundraising, receiving donations from John D. Rockefeller and establishing contacts with Franklin and Eleanor Roosevelt. Her little school would become even more successful after it merged with the private institute for African American boys and became known as the Bethune-Cookman School. She was president of the college from 1923 to 1942. In 1946 to 1947, becoming one of the few women in the world to serve as the college president at that time. After she found that one of her students needing medical care was denied the care she needed, it was placed on an outside porch of the local white hospital instead of the room with the bed. She used her funding resources and connections to open the first Black hospital in Daytona, Florida. According to the Turning Point Suffragist Memorial Association, her little school would become even more successful after it merged with the private institute for African American boys and became known as the Bethune-Cookman School. She was president of the college from 1923 to 1942 and 1946 to 1947, becoming one of the few women in the world to serve as the college president at that time. After she found that one of her students needing medical care was denied the care she needed and was placed on the outside porch of the local white hospital instead of the room with the bed, she used her funding sources and connections to open the first Black hospital in Daytona, Florida. According to the Turning Point Suffragist Memorial Association, McLeod became one of the 20th century's most powerful and celebrated advocates for civil rights and suffrage, holding prominent roles, including president in the National Association of the Colored Women, NACW. She also served as president of the Florida Federation of Colored Women's Clubs, where she fought against school segregation and sought health care for Black children. Under her leadership, the National Council of Negro Women, NCNW, was founded as a unifying voice African American organization. As chapter president of the Florida chapter of the National Association of Colored Women, She would become so well known for her work registering Black voters that once again she received threats from the Ku Klux Klan. And like before, she did not back down. With her friendship with the Roosevelts, she would become appointed as a national advisor on concerns of Black people and would be called the First Lady of the Struggle. When she passed away on May 18, 1955, she was recognized across the country. One newspaper suggested the story of her life should be taught to every school child for generations to come. And the New York Times noted she was one of the most potent factors in the growth of interracial goodwill in America. In her own words before she died, she wrote, "I leave you love. I leave you hope. I leave you the challenge of developing confidence in one another. I leave you racial dignity. I leave you a desire to live harmoniously with your fellow man. I leave you a responsibility to our young people. If I have a legacy to leave my people, it is my philosophy of living and serving. I think I have spent my life well. I pray now that my philosophy may be helpful to those who share my vision of a world of peace, progress, brotherhood, and love." So I hope you enjoyed this story. And it's a fascinating story of a woman who, against all odds, became very successful. And it is a story of Mary McLeod Bethune. And I'd like to make a correction on what I spoke about Venture Smith the last time. Venture owned 3 fishing boats, not vessels. That's my correction. And the story of Venture Smith was taken from Wikipedia. Another historic fact was Venture Smith was known for being very tall and of strong physique. Well, they would choose the largest and strongest and to do heavy work here in the colonies in the United States. So that's a historic fact, and I like to wish everybody that they stay well during this coronavirus epidemic, and hopefully the epidemic will be soon, and stay well. I hope you enjoyed my show. Thank you for watching.